Hello again, so we're back in the kitchen, sous vide again, and this time what I'm doing is vac packing some steak. So you've seen what we're trying to achieve here, a nice vac pack steak, all seasoned up with some butter in there and some thyme, so the flavours can get into the meat. We've got some really nice ribeye steaks from the local farmer's market. What I've done is I've seasoned it very generously. As I said earlier on, you're better to season your steaks, all foods really, in sous vide, a little bit more than you perhaps would otherwise. Now what we're going to do is pop it into the vac bag. I've got a much smaller vac bag here than we used for the lamb earlier on. Obviously fits the size of the food. I'm going to pop in the steak right to the end of the bag to give us plenty of room at the top to allow the vacuum to form properly. Keep the hands a little bit of a rinse again. Now what I'm going to do with the steak is put a little bit of thyme on each side of the steak. First of all, this is quite a young thyme. I find it's better to be slightly young for this rather than this woodier, older type of thyme. Just a bit more tender, and you can leave it on while you're actually searing the steaks at the end, and it's not offensive in any way. Now what we need to do is get a little bit of butter. Obviously it's going to add flavour to the steak as it's sous vide, and it's also going to help when we come to frying because you don't need any liquids or fat in the pan. So a little wedge of butter, I'm just going to halve it, and I'm going to pop a bit on each side of the steak. These are relatively short cooking times for sous vide, not for steak, but relatively short cooking times, only an hour in the bath. So you do need to make sure that everything spreads itself around quite quickly within the cooking. So what I'm now going to do is vac it up, just as we did with a lamb. Obviously it's a lot easier when it comes to doing something small like this, so we get it in the channel and put the vac on it. What I didn't mention earlier on is that we make sure the steaks are nice and dry for the vacuuming process, because you don't want to be sucking up any blood or moisture. And it's also helpful we use butter, being a solid fat, so again it doesn't get sucked up. Okay, so that's done. You can join the other two that Rich did a minute or two ago. And we're just going to take the sous vide machine off of the lamb for a little while. That's going to maintain its temperature perfectly happily on its own for an hour while we do the steaks. So that's for tomorrow. This is for tonight. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this temperature to 47 degrees for a rare steak.
For how long?